Hey Dad, how much money did you have saved for like retirement or in general when you were like 20 or 30? Because I want to know if I'm on the right track. I don't really know how to go about it. Don't worry about it, that's not important. Everyone wants to know more about money. I don't know if there's a single person out there that can honestly say they don't have any interest or any care about how to make more money. It's just something that makes the world go around, and it's just something you have to use as a tool to, I guess, survive, if you can look at it that way. And for that reason, in this video, I want to talk about how much money you should have saved by each age, or a goal you can shoot for to have saved by each age. Now keep in mind, this is going to be very hard to pinpoint exactly for each individual person unless you are that individual person, because everyone has different responsibilities. Some people have kids earlier in life, and then later on in life people have different goals when they retire. Some people want to stay home all day and read, some people want to go out to eat every single day, and then some people even just want to play golf every single day. Why anyone want to do that? I don't know. Like a round of golf with the boys. Got away from me that time. Never playing golf again. But regardless, there's no reason to dwell on things or for the emergencies that come up with the situation that you've been put in. You just have to take your situation and your scenario and make it the best you possibly can. Anyway, even though I just said that everyone wants more money and everyone cares about having more money, not everyone makes it a big priority. And maybe this is just because it's another stressor to add to their life, and it can be very stressful if you don't understand it. And that's kind of the whole purpose of this channel, to kind of simplify things so that people can understand it and they can start taking control of their financial future. And a lot of people say things to me like, why do you care so much about personal finance? Is it even important? What's like the purpose behind it? You might as well live your life. You can't take money to the grave with you. No one's gonna look out for you if you ever need money. You should just spend it on yourself and have a good time. I really hate that guy. But the truth is, sometimes I really do think about it when people ask me, and I think, why do I care so much about personal finance? Maybe I should just not worry about it at all and just do whatever. But then I realized personal finance is very important, and it's important for setting yourself up for the future. And then I go back to thinking about all these people that say, I will just settle for being able to retire. When in reality, that's up to you to put yourself on a path and develop a plan in order to retire. Over half of Americans do not have any sort of retirement account at all. Say ideally you want to have $1 million in retirement funds to retire. That can be very intimidating, especially if you're 25, 26, or 27 and you really haven't started any sort of retirement funds at all. But what if I told you at the age of 25, if you just take out $200 from every check, assuming you get paid bi-weekly, and you invest it into some sort of fund that tracks the S&P 500, and you average an 8% return over those 40 years, and you continue to take the $200 out of your check and put it into an S&P 500 fund, then you would have $1.5 million by the time you turn 65 and retire. That seems a lot less intimidating. And again, this all goes down to developing a plan. Alright, so now we'll get started. Please just back up first. Thank you. Now, we'll start off with your 20s. When you turn 20, how much money should you have? And honestly, anything above zero is a win. I mainly think this because your 20s are so volatile. Some people are still in school, some people went right into the workforce out of high school, some people started a business. There's really so many different paths that could be taken. If you wanted to go to medical school per se, then you're gonna start much later than 20 years old. I say, as long as you start to dabble a little bit into the market, and you learn the markets, you learn how to invest, you open some sort of retirement account, you're automatically winning. And if you do all that at the age of 20, I assure you, you're much, much further ahead than a lot of others. Now you're 30, you're out of your 20s, how much should you have when you turn 30? And we're kind of using saved, invested, retirement, all interchangeably here, just kind of go with it. But I think a good rule of thumb when you turn 30 is to have 1 year's salary saved and invested. The average net worth at the age of 30 is over $75,000. I do not think that is accurate, mainly because it's just the field of those 30-year-olds that hit it big right off the bat, started a business, and did great things with it. The median net worth is only $11,000. And if you're watching this and you're 30 and you're below that $11,000 or even at it, either one, then there's no reason to feel bad about that, because 39% of Americans don't even start a retirement account in their 20s. So there's no reason to feel bad that you were one of them, because like I said, this isn't a topic that a lot of people talk about, and it's kind of a taboo topic, and I would really hope that changes in society, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. As for a specific number, and this is completely going to be dependent on your salary, I would say anywhere between 40 and 48,000 by the time you turn 30 is a great number to have. But again, like I just said, it's going to depend on your salary, it's going to depend on your goals, it's going to depend on your retirement lifestyle, and it's all going to depend on you overall. Now you're in your 40s, now you're too old, now you're too slow, etc., etc. By now, maybe you've taken on some more responsibilities in life. Maybe you've had kids, maybe you bought a house, any of those things. And if you're still not happy where you are income-wise, maybe it's time to think about, and you probably should have done this in your 30s actually, maybe it's time to think about changing jobs or even industries rather. If you really don't like your job and you feel like you're underpaid or undervalued, it's probably best to get out of that situation as soon as possible, because the older you get, most likely the more responsibilities you're going to take on, which is going to make it harder and harder to leave your job and find some place that's going to pay you a value, because you can't just leave and follow a passion per se, because you have those responsibilities and you need that income. Anyway, the average salary for a 40-year-old is $67,000 and the median is $47,000. And if you can save and invest 3 times your income by the time you are 40, you're going to be in a really good position. Based on those numbers I just gave you, if you have somewhere around $150,000 that you've invested and saved, then you're going to be in a really good spot. But again, it all depends on your salary and it all depends on your situation and your goals. Now you're 50. Now you're starting to think, all right, retirement is kind of creeping up on me. I kind of get into that age. The average salary for a 50-year-old is $75,000 and the median salary is $50,000. If by the time you're 50 you can have 5 times your salary saved and invested, you're in a great spot. And for a number based off of what I just gave, I would say anywhere between $250,000 and $500,000 is a really good spot to be in. And I know that's a wide range, but as I've said 100 times, it all depends on your situation and your goals and your salary. This is a critical time because this is when compound interest is going to start to take over if you've been investing continuously for 30 years. Say you have $500,000 invested and you receive a 10% return on investment. That's going to be $50,000 you made in the year without doing anything at all. And this is why compound interest is so important, and this is why it's smart to invest for the long term when you are younger, so that when you get older, compound interest is even more effective. And lastly, we're going to kind of group 60 and 65 together here. If by the time you're 60, you can have 8 times your salary saved and invested, and by the time you're 65, you can have 10 times your salary saved and invested, you're going to be in a great spot. You're going to be able to live off your investments most likely if you have your lifestyle planned out, and you should be set up very well for the upcoming years of your life. The average salary for a 60 to 65-year-old is the same. It's $75,000 and the median is $50,000. So by the time you're 60, if you have somewhere between $400,000 and $600,000 saved and invested, you're going to be in a really great spot. And by the time you're 65, you have somewhere between $500,000 and $750,000. Anywhere in that range, I would say you're in a fantastic spot. But again, it's all going to depend on your salary, how early you started, and how much you want to have at retirement. These are just very general numbers, general rules of thumb with a very wide range. And my opinion also means nothing, because I am just some guy sitting in my room talking to a camera right now, because I still cannot leave my home and do anything. That's going to be it for this video, guys. I really hope you learned something. I really hope you know how much you want to have saved for retirement. I really hope you can put yourself on a great track. Any questions, comments, recommendations, anything, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.